Thank you for joining us in our session for fashion and AI today. There's a huge shift that's happening in this industry. With one lockdown after the other affecting world retail, coronavirus has resulted in an entire season of unsold stock that's taken up costly warehouse space. And what are retailers doing to address that? Well, they do discounts. And that means that they're damaging their margins and their cash flow at the same time. Customer shopping habits have changed forever, accelerating the shift to online by 5 years, we hear here in the UK. And that means that household brands that we knew and loved and we've grown up with, they just cease to exist overnight. But in this new landscape, we've seen some brands actually emerging stronger. We've seen them defying both the rapid shift to online as well as that decline that we're seeing in consumer spending. So these brands have actually managed to increase their full price sell-through, their basket size, and their conversion by focusing on three simple strategies. Number one, they inspire customers because when people are buying new clothes, they're not just looking for a new dress in an endless catalog of dresses. They're looking to satisfy that inner desire that we all have, the desire to look and feel great. In fact, we found that 1 in 2 of us are actually looking for styling advice when they're out shopping. That might just be, a friend or a spouse, our partner, or the sales assistant. Number two, these brands offer their customers a personal service and they build a relationship with them. In fact, Dolce & Gabbana found that 80% of their sales are generated only by 20% of their sales associates. And what do they attribute that success to? Well, the fact that they know their customers so well that these sales assistants can help them find the right clothes and can help them look and feel great. It's very much about how they make their customers feel. Number three, these brands have moved beyond the limitations of physical space. They engage with their customers across different channels, on web, on social media, on WhatsApp, and they maintain a consistent customer experience across these touch points. They know who the brand is talking to. So how can AI help retailers solve all these challenges? Well, there's two ways of thinking about AI. It can either replace human jobs or it can actually enhance us and help us do our jobs better, delivering more, faster, and at a higher level of quality. And if you think about, what customer experience actually means for fashion, well, it's helping your customers find the right clothes and find the right outfits. I'll never forget my experience when I visited the Platinum Suite at Lane Crawford. So Lane Crawford is the biggest luxury retailer in Hong Kong, and I have this space that's reserved only for big spenders, certainly not me. So, we're lucky enough to meet the Lane Crawford innovation team, who offered us a private tour of that Platinum Suite. So we entered the shop, we were greeted by a member of staff, and then we got taken to the private suite. We had an expert stylist helping us find the right clothes, and the store staff went and fetched these clothes for us, and we enjoyed some refreshments. And despite the fact I was there on business and I was not planning on buying anything, I ended up with this really expensive shirt. And it was such a delightful experience that I really couldn't resist. And if you think about it, the main reason why I managed to get this experience was because I was in a super luxury store. And even in this case, that was a service that was targeted only for their bigger spenders. So the question is, how can we make this experience accessible to everyone? And that's where AI comes to the rescue. There's a new breed of researchers in universities across the world, and they've started looking at this challenge, but specifically for fashion. They use AI to look at hundreds of images of outfits online, teaching it effectively the essence of style. And then they use that knowledge to style customers based on the latest trends. And that's an area that we're also working with. But we've taken this a step further. Because the question is, how do you know that social media imagery actually has the best styling? Some of it might not be great. So would it make sense to actually only look at images that are put together by expert stylists in the latest fashion shows and latest catwalks? So that's exactly what we do. We take full body shots, and then we analyze where the location of clothing is in the photography. And then we extract the different attributes from that clothing to start understanding how people are wearing it, how are people combining all these different attributes. But that's not enough, because each of us has a very different body type, right? Something that will look right on me might not look right on you, and vice versa. So in order to solve this problem, we look at the attributes that each piece of clothing has, like what's the cut, the pattern, what are the sleeves, what's the shape, and we look at how these two pieces of clothing interact with each other. And then we use an expert team of stylists who has put a set of rules that create proportion for each different body type, because that's your goal when you're actually styling someone for their body type. Now we then look at skin tone, we look at hair tone, we look at eye tone, and we categorize people to different occasions based on that information. We then look at the color palette of the clothing, and we make sure that the clothing really enhances your natural colors. So to summarize, the AI learns the style by looking at trends. We then profile the user to get more information about them. But there's a third and very important component here. We all have personal preferences. So the way that I wear a pair of jeans might be entirely different to the way that you do. I might choose to wear it with a shirt, you might wear it with a t-shirt. So the third thing that you need to do is look at the customer's interactions and understand their preferences. Do they interact with shirts or with t-shirts? What did they previously buy? And once you take that into account, you can offer a truly personalized service. So, for example, this AI can be used in a number of different ways. You can use it to engage with customers on different social commerce platforms like WeChat, WhatsApp, or Facebook Messenger. WhatsApp in the Middle East, we're seeing that it's a very popular channel for engaging with users. So Max Mara there offers a styling service over WhatsApp. The chatbot takes care of the repetitive task of finding out about a customer. What's their body type? What's the skin tone? What's their height? Are they shopping for a particular occasion? And then offers them clothes, outfit, and accessory recommendations. Now, when a customer purchases something in a physical store, a virtual private assistant creates a completely personalized lookbook based on the item that they purchased and sends it off to them via WhatsApp. And this really allows them to increase their basket size and their customer satisfaction. And what they saw was that their engagement increased 18 times, because now the customer service team can really storytell, they can upsell, they can cross-sell more effectively, and they can do that across different channels. But this doesn't stop there. River Island, one of the biggest fast fashion retailers in the UK, found that they can increase their basket size by 5 times by getting customers to speak to a human stylist. But not everyone is an expert stylist. So it uses AI to supercharge their customer service team and turn them into stylists. Now, customers at any point in time can connect to the customer service team, who will help them find the right clothes and outfits for them. And as I mentioned, they don't need to be trained stylists, because the AI will support them, helping them make the right choices. It will even give them tips explaining why a particular piece of clothing has been selected for the customer, so they can tell the customer why that is. And it really just feels that they're talking to a human stylist. Now, that way, the AI is really used to enhance our ability as humans, and help us do our job quicker and more effectively, as opposed to taking away jobs. So let's see, for example, what one of the biggest fashion retailers in Germany is doing. These guys have created this remote selling app, and that really allows them to redeploy store staff, which are being underutilized during coronavirus. So with their shops closing right now, all of that stuff can be redeployed to help customers on the website. So customers can chat to the sales team, and that sales team will ask them the same questions that a stylist would. Is there anything that they'd like to avoid wearing, for example? And then it will provide them with recommendations based on who that customer is. They can even have a video call with a customer to find out a little bit more about them. And they can see that customer's profile. What's their sizes, what's the skin tones, their color palette, even what's their Pinterest feed. It will then look at the items that they previously purchased. They can even see notes about that customer. And then they can use all of that information and help that customer find the right clothes. The AI will just suggest what they should be suggesting to that customer effectively. Now, all of that information is stored in the cloud, and that creates a visual styling identity for that customer, which can be used across all these different touch points. So when a customer goes to the website, they can receive these personal styling recommendations based on the information that we already know about them or their past purchases at any touch point. So for example, Lane Crawford uses the information that they collect from their customers across various touch points to style them. And they have these customers broken down across different customer segments. And each of these segments can have a completely different approach. So the AI can copy the styling identity of both the brand, Lane Crawford, but also create multiple styling agents for each customer. And that way they can serve different brands or different customer segments. Now, by taking that strategy and extending it from stores, like I mentioned before, and like I had that experience, and by extending that online, they've actually managed to increase their basket size by 25% and increase their overall revenue by 16%. But perhaps the most surprising result is that items were sold were 60% less likely to beat markdown. And that resulted, on average, in a 20% higher full price sell-through because customers focused on inspiration. So I was just talking about how Dolce & Gabbana uses that sort of service in physical stores to help customers find the right clothes. But not everyone can spend the kind of money that Dolce & Gabbana does to really offer that service one-to-one. So what a retailer at the north of the UK, is doing, they're offering this mirror that effectively allows customers to talk a little bit about themselves, creates this profile about them, and then it connects to stores across the entire shopping center. And it will help that customer find the right products for them. So we're talking about 100,000 items right now that are being made available across the entire mall. And this will look real time and will help customers find the right product. So customers can browse through these in a physical store, in the smart mirror. And then they can even take this on their mobile phone and then go around the entire shopping mall with these outfits. Effectively, it's like having your own kind of personal shopper with you. And this is only the beginning. Soon, AI will be embedded in our wardrobes. And we've seen the first glimpse of that with devices such as Amazon Echo Look. I mean, that will give us a rating for today's outfit. And AI will be able to suggest an outfit, the outfit of the day, depending on how we feel or what's in our diary. I mean, it'll be able to analyze what clothes we wear most. And what should we give away to secondhand markets because we're not really wearing it? And how much money can we make out of that? Can we reinvest that in new clothes for our wardrobe that will fit better for us? It will be able to suggest what clothes we should buy, as opposed to rent. Should we rent something because we're only going to wear it just once or twice, and that way saving us money and reducing the environmental impact. And really just it will integrate all these different business models and services, whether that's rental that we're talking about, secondhand, cleaning, dry cleaning services, all of them into effectively our wardrobe. Styling is not going to be reserved for VIPs. It will change the way that we buy clothes. As opposed to just buying a product, we're effectively going to buy confidence, happiness. We're going to buy memories. So thank you for taking the time for watching a session. Apologize for the sound issues that we had. And I'd love to open this up to any questions that you might have.